Okay, so next let's go ahead and talk about your vocabulary for this concept. What we're doing is we're categorizing numbers. So all numbers you could ever think of, that's exactly what we're doing, okay? So start with natural numbers, okay? Natural numbers are numbers that you would speak naturally. So for example, if you have a baby brother or sister and you are trying to teach them numbers, okay, what number would you start with? Okay, naturally, you would start with 1 and then go to 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so these are numbers that you would just say naturally. Okay, so natural numbers, I'm just going to write an example for it. Okay, so natural numbers are numbers that you would speak naturally. So examples 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, etc. Okay, so these are spoken naturally. Naturally. Sorry, you can't see that. Okay, next is whole numbers. Whole numbers are any number 0 and above. Okay, so just write 0 and above. So I'm going to do an arrow, 0 and up. Okay, so example 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay, is 0 a natural number? Okay, the answer is no, because whenever you're teaching somebody to speak, when you're teaching somebody to count, you don't count 0. Okay, it's just nothing. However, 0 is a whole number, so that's the only difference between natural numbers and whole numbers. Okay, next is integers. All right, so please make sure you're writing this down with the definition and examples, okay? So integers are positive Gosh, I'm writing really bad today, guys. I'm really sorry. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so integers are positive and negative numbers, okay? Positive and negative numbers. This is why it's important to listen to the videos, because you can't always read what I'm writing. Okay, so this is any positive or negative number. So it could be -1, but also 1. Okay, it could be -10, but also 10. All right. Now, rational numbers is everything else. Okay. So any positive or any positive or negative whole number or partial number. Okay. So write that however you want. I want you to define it by yourself. So any positive or negative whole or part number. Okay. So that means it's a rational number is 1, but it's also -1. But also it's -1.5, but it's also +1.5. Okay, so any fraction, any decimal, positive or negative. Okay, so this is a part where it gets confusing, and I really need y'all to pay attention. If you noticed, there are multiple numbers I put in our examples that are everything. Okay, so example 1 is a natural number. It's also a whole number. It's also an integer. It's also a rational number. Okay, because it matches the definition of every single one of these. So if I were to put 1 in my Venn diagram over here on the right hand side, I would have to put it in the very middle one, okay? Because the middle, the natural number circle, is inside the whole number circle, which is inside the integer circle, which is inside the rational number circle, okay? 1 counts as every single one. Okay, so let's look at 0. Where would 0 go? 0 is everything except for a natural number, so it cannot go in natural numbers, but it can go in whole number because it's a whole number, an integer, and a rational number. Okay, how about -1? I can't put -1 in natural numbers. You don't naturally count -1. It's not a whole number because it's a negative. It goes in integers because it's an integer and a rational number. Okay, how about 1.5? 1.5 is not a number you count naturally. It's not a whole number. It's not an integer because it's a partial number. 1.5 or 1.5. Okay, because of this partial number, it cannot be an integer because it has an addition. Okay, make sure you got this. Let's move on. Okay. So you should have already watched the video with Mr. Berger. If you didn't, stop, pause, go back to Schoology and watch it, please. Okay, so let's do these examples together. Okay, let's just talk about them. This is saying, identify a set of numbers that best describe the situation. So is this natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, or rational numbers? The number of hours of television a person can watch in a week. Okay, now this is tricky. I would say natural. However, can you watch 0 hours of television in a week? Yes. Okay, so far it's whole numbers. Can you watch a negative amount of TV a week? No, so it cannot be integers. Okay, but can you watch 1.5 hours? Yes. Okay, so it's going to be rational. Because it's possible to watch an hour and a half of TV. Okay, how about the number of pets a person has? Can you have 0 pets? Yes. Can you have negative pets? Well, no. Can you have a partial pet, so 1.5 pets? No. So it has to be whole numbers. Okay. All right, let's move on. Okay, this gives you an example. In case you need it, excuse me. Go ahead and pause it and read these examples, these explanations. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice this. Okay, so 8, is it a natural number? Yes, so it's natural. Is it a whole number? Yes. Oops, I spelled whole wrong. You guys, Miss Moneyhan's not doing well today. Okay, natural, whole. Is 8 a negative number? No. Okay, is it partial number? No. Okay, how about negative 21? Is it natural? No. Is it counting? I'm sorry, natural. Is it a whole number? No, because that's a negative, so it's an integer and a rational number. Okay. 11.32 repeating. Is it a natural number? No, you don't naturally count that. It's not a whole number because it has a decimal. Is it an integer? It's not an integer, once again, because it has a decimal. It's only a rational number. Okay, and then how about 0? 0 is not a counting number, so it's not a natural number, but it is a whole number, which means it also fits into all of the other categories. Okay, so let's go back to example A, 8. Since this is a natural number and a whole number, it's also an integer and a rational number. Okay, I forgot to write it. Because remember our Venn diagram, if it's in the center, the most center circle is sitting in all the other circles, so it has to count as all of them. Okay? All right. So let's move on. This is not the easiest app to erase on. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, so I'm going to help you with this, and then you're going to finish it by yourself and put the answers into GoFormative so I can see your answers. Okay, so rational number is negative 4/7/8 a rational number? Yes, because it's a partial number. Okay, integer, is it a positive or negative whole number? No. Okay, because it has a partial number. Is it a whole number? No, because it has that partial. Okay, so what about 4? Go down to 4 down here. Is it a whole number? Yes. Is it an integer? Remember, integers are positive and negative whole numbers. So, yes. Is it a rational number? Okay, rational number is any number, positive or negative, whole or partial. And it is. Okay, so go ahead and fill this out on GoFormative so I can check your answers.